for the invocation. Heavenly Father, let our deliberation and the actions we take be acceptable in your sight. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, I know that item number 1 with Miss Andrea, she's out of town, but she will be here Thursday night to discuss item number 1. Other than that, I don't know of any changes. Other than that, I entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as printed, with the exception of item number 1 being delayed till Thursday.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey has made a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
And is seconded by Ms. Leggett. Any further discussion about the agenda? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is set. We'll proceed immediately to item number 2. Officer Marson, you're on, and if you'll come to this station here, we can hear you better.
How was that? Is that good?
Yeah.
Let me begin by thanking you, the council, for giving me this opportunity to speak. I am Chris Morrison. I was an officer at the Hazlehurst Police Department. I've been employed with the city of Hazlehurst since January of 2011 as a police officer. As you know, my employment with the city was terminated on October the 20th, 2020. I believe that bringing this matter before you, the council, that I will not just be treated fairly, but the totality of the situation will be taken into account by the council. On October the 4th, 2020, I was on duty as a police officer here in Hazlehurst. That day I responded to an active shooter call here in Hazlehurst. The victim in this case was shot in the neck, and also her house was shot at several times by an armed male who fled on foot before officers could arrive. As I was the first officer to arrive on scene, I began rendering aid to the victim. I learned that the shooting was an unprovoked attack and that the male, the suspect, was armed with a rifle. When other officers arrived and the scene was declared safe, I left to look for the suspect. I wanted to locate him as quickly as possible before anyone else could be hurt. The investigation into this case led me to the encounter with Mr. Conaway. Mr. Conaway is the person who filed the complaint against me that eventually led to my termination. The complaint was filed on October the 5th, 2020. The complaint filed against me was turned over to the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, for review. The GBI was contacted by Chief of Police Ken Williams to avoid any accusations of being biased because of the complainant, Mr. Conaway, being related to the Hazlehurst Police Department Clerk of Court, Ms. Deborah Corning. On October the 6th, I was placed on administrative leave during the GBI's investigation of the complaint. On October the 19th, 2020, I learned that the district attorney, after review of the GBI's finding, chose to have criminal charges brought up against me. I strongly disagree with the choice of the district attorney to recommend that I be charged in this case. I spoke with the Chief of Police, Ken Williams, on the phone on October the 19th. He was already aware of the charges that had been made against me. He told me that I could resign my position from the police department, or if I chose not to resign, he would have no choice but to terminate my employment. I told him on the phone that I would contact him later with a response. On October the 20th, the following day, I met with Chief of Police Ken Williams at the police department. He asked me again if I was going to resign my position at the police department. I told him that I felt that I had done nothing wrong, therefore I could not resign my position. He then terminated my employment effective immediately. I'm asking the council to reconsider the decision made to terminate my employment. I would like to remind the council that during this incident in question, I was acting under the color of law and was officiating an arrest that I am, excuse me, I was acting under the color of law and exercising my authority to arrest granted to me by you, the council. I also want to remind you that I do have a right of presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. I feel that my termination is a punishment for an action in which I have not been proven guilty of, therefore making it a wrongful termination. I am here to ask you, the City Council, not to uphold the decision to terminate my employment, but allow me to remain an employee of the City of Hazelhurst. I'm asking for a lateral transfer, and I be placed at the Hazelhurst Fire Department. I have experience with the fire department from being a volunteer firefighter in the past. I feel that my experience and knowledge of the fire department, a lateral transfer would not just benefit me, but benefit the city as well. I would remain at the fire department until eligible to return to the police department as a police officer. I have served the City of Hazelhurst as an officer in both part-time and full-time positions since January of 2011. I have been a devoted employee of the City of Hazelhurst and to the police department. Hazelhurst is my home. Hazelhurst is where I want to work, and Hazelhurst is where I want to retire. I sincerely hope to retain my employment with the City of Hazelhurst so I can retain my retirement benefits that I am so close to having locked in. I also want to retain the other benefits I have earned as a result of my long employment with the city. I ask you, the council, to transfer me to the Hazelhurst Fire Department until which time I'm able to return to the role as a police officer. I strongly believe that I will receive a favorable outcome in this case that has been made against me, and I will be able to return to the job that I love and I have been devoted to for a long time. I ask you, the council, to reinstate my employment with the city. Excuse me. I ask that I receive back pay from the date I was terminated on October the 20th, 2020. I also ask the council to leave my pay at the same rate as listed in the City of Hazelhurst Personnel Handbook, Section 3.8.4, lateral transfers. A lateral transfer is defined as a move from one position to another position, or one department to another department. Lateral transfers may occur as a result of an employee's request or departmental need. Lateral transfers do not result in salary or wage changes, according to the City Personnel Handbook. As I mentioned earlier, I trust you, the council, for your fair treatment. This matter for which I am before you could have been avoided. As you know, I assume most of you do know, I was offered to be rehired by the city on November the 2nd. The proposal given to me by the city attorney said nothing about my reinstatement to the police department at my pay and rank when eligible. The proposal presented to me said nothing to retain my benefits, which I had earned due to my long employment at the police department. I was offered a cut in pay and to be placed at the fire department. Also, the proposal said I had to withdraw my appeal from the council and I could return with employment to the city. I told Attorney Smith I was not in agreement with that proposal. He instructed me to meet with Mayor Stone about this issue. After leaving Attorney Smith's office, I come to City Hall and I did meet with Mayor Stone. I told him the proposal said I would be a rehire, and I was concerned about losing my earned benefits. The mayor told me I would retain all of my benefits. When I asked him about the issue of back pay not being in the agreement, Mayor Stone told me since he was helping me and offered me to be rehired, I should not even suggest it. I told him if I went forward with the appeal and my employment was reinstated by the council, then I would receive back pay. I had not obtained any employment due to the fact I was wishing to return to the city. I did not want to start one job to leave it to come back to this one. I also asked him about being reinstated to the police department at my pay and rank I was at. Mayor Stone told me if I was found not guilty, I would go back like nothing ever happened. I told Mayor Stone that I wanted everything to be put into the agreement. Mayor Stone then called Attorney Smith and placed him on speakerphone so I could hear the conversation. Mayor Stone told Attorney Smith that I was here in the office. He went on to say that I was dissatisfied with some things and that he didn't like it because he was trying to help me. Later in the conversation between Mayor Stone and Attorney Smith, Stone said that he felt that I was hitting him, and I'm going to quote him on this, hitting him with a bunch of shit, and he didn't like it. He referred to everything I was here to ask about to clarify as being a bunch of shit coming from the mayor. Mayor Stone told Attorney Smith I was concerned with the wording of the agreement, which I was. Mayor Stone then went on with his conversation with the attorney and said that he felt the need to, he felt the need to refer me as to being petty. The mayor felt it appropriate to call me petty for being in his office asking for a clear understanding and fair treatment. He told me that if I signed the agreement and later I would be cleared of everything, I would go back to the police department as if I have never left. He then said that all other, he then said that all the other, and I'm quoting him again here, the other shit, he was not interested in. I said to him that I wanted to keep my benefits, and he said yes, I would. I said, are you going to pay me the back pay? He said no, and even if I went through the appeal, I could not be rehired and I would be wasting my time. Mayor Stone then referred to me asking about going back to my pay as if I was asking for a $2 pay raise. Well, since he brought up the issue, I told him since you want to bring up the issue of pay raises, we haven't received one since he's been in office. Mayor Stone then told me I had a bad attitude, so I decided to tell him since he felt the need to talk to me in a disrespectful manner, call me petty, and to refer to the issues I wanted to discuss with him as being shit. I told him I would let my appeal stand and I would bring it before the council, and I left his office. Members of the council, I feel that I will be treated fairly by bringing this matter before you. I am not here to ask for anything else other than fair treatment. I truly wish to remain employed with the city of Hazelhurst. I assure you that if allowed to remain employed, I will continue to be a devoted city employee. I ask you, the council, for your support and a chance to allow me to prove my innocence. Thank you again, members of the council, for allowing me to speak. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the officer's appeal to the council. This is a decision that'll have to be made in a regular session of the council. So we're not in a position to make any kind of decision on it tonight. While he's here, if y'all would, if I think it would be in order, would y'all like to ask him any questions, any clarification that you'd like to ask him? I think that would...
I have one.
Okay.
Just one. You all right this time?
I'll come back
Okay.
here.
It was two things that you said one time. You said that you talked to the city attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was something about the district attorney and explained, I mean, when did the district attorney...
The complaint that was filed against me and the
Mhm.
chief felt the need to turn it over to the GBI for their review.
Mhm.
The process is that they do their investigation, they take their findings to the district attorney.
Right.
Since I am a law enforcement officer, the district attorney looked at the facts, and for some reason she felt the need to say that the incident in question warranted me being charged. I strongly disagree with that.
Okay.
That's why the district
Yes,
attorney was mentioned in
Well,
my
I
appeal.
apologize for putting you on the spot.
No, that's no problem.
Because
No problem.
I'm trained that I don't like employees to have to come to these meetings like this. I'd rather for us to handle you different.
Yes.
But since that came up, I know where my head is now from my training.
Okay.
When the district attorney and attorneys get involved,
Mhm.
then the council has to be very, very careful as what they say and do. And that's why I just need to know, we can't make no decisions tonight
Look,
anyway in
well, I
this
understand this
meeting,
is
so
on
I
the
just
work
want to
session.
know on my... That's
Okay.
good, thank you.
All
I'm
right.
sorry for putting you on the
Chris,
spot.
may I ask one question?
Sure.
Do you know the date that this will come up, that we might have a legal resolve?
I would assume, since the district attorney lost her re-election and we have a new district attorney, it would probably be after the first of the year before the case against me would be resolved. As Attorney Smith knows, being in the legal system, the wheels don't turn very fast in the court system, so it could be a couple months. That's right. With it being a felony charge, the two charges brought up against me, one being a misdemeanor simple battery, because I was on duty working as a police officer at that time, and the district attorney felt the need to charge me with simple battery. They also threw on top of that a felony charge of violation of oath of office. The felony is the reason why I cannot operate as a police officer. If I did not have the felony charge and just the misdemeanor charge, I could still be employed as an officer. But with the felony charge, it has to go before a grand jury for them to make an indictment on that, and under the current climate with the COVID, who knows how long that's going to be.
That's good, that's
Okay.
all we need to... We don't need to put you on the
No,
spot
that's fine.
anymore,
That's
so
fine.
I thank you.
Wait a minute, Ms. Leggett, you got anything?
No.
Thank you very much.
Wait a minute, I have. When, one of your fellow officers came to me and sort of explained to me, what we might do to help you, and maybe help the city in resolving a conflict that we had that you described very well. And you came to me out in the parking lot. And I think at that time I told you, I said that, I think I even asked you your age. I didn't realize you were quite as young as you were. And I said, goodness, he's been on the police force a good long time, he's a young man. I said, sure, I don't have any problem helping you. Is that not what I told you?
That's exactly what you told me.
And, so I got busy and talking to the Chief Wasna, our fire chief, and the attorney and all, and began to work out things to try to do what we can do to help you. Okay, and that was fine with me. I thought we had, with the attorney and you and the fire chief, I thought we had everything going. we had a little problem with, you being a police officer, wearing a weapon where you've got to, have conflict that endangers your life, maybe, of course, a fireman does too. But, for some reason, we have come to the conclusion that a police officer, is, jeopardy of perhaps losing his life or being harmed is a little greater than maybe some of the others. And your pay scale is above the other. There's no other department that makes the wages that your police officers make. And I guess you know that, and I think it's justified that we've all voted for it sitting here. We're all, we did it, and we have no problem with it. But to move you, to the, department, I think I'm the one that came up with it first. I don't know whether I was. I think I was the one. Chief, you didn't do that, did you? Did I come up with the pay scale thing, or did you, or do you remember?
Here's what I said, and I have no problem with any of this at all.
I didn't either.
If and I don't even know what Chris makes, but I can't, if he's making this and he comes over working for me, if he works for me completely, I'm not talking about just come over for a couple of months and then go back. I'm talking about if he stayed with the fire department, for him making this, my guys making this, not work. I mean, just won't work. But now if he could just come over for a couple of months, then yeah,
I knew,
have a problem with whatever y'all do. That's y'all.
I knew that, and the chief did too, and I don't know where it originated, but I'll take the blame for it if there's any blame to be taken. So I asked you, out of, trying to be reasonable and help you out of reason, I asked you, would you do that? Would you be able to, accept that during this interim time while we getting this worked out for you, if you would accept $15 an hour? And as I understand, I don't know, I didn't have a tape recorder like you did coming in with me and recording me, but that's fine. Anything that I said, you damn well bet I'll back it up. So don't have any problem with that. And just what I just said, so I mean, that's the way I operate. But you come in and sit in my office with the quarter on me, and, but that's fine, that doesn't bother me at all. There's nothing wrong with that. Mine's open records, this and that's on me every time I'm anywhere, and I'll back up with anything I say anytime. But you agreed to the $15 an hour, I understood, because of the problem that was created in his department. Did you not?
At that time, I had agreed to it. I didn't
All right,
like it.
That's all I need to know.
But
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Well,
But I'll refer to you what the,
well,
policy, the handbook says
well, all
about
right, that's fine,
transfers
that's
and
fine,
pay
that's
wages.
good.
So.
But, at any rate, we were working with you.
Okay.
Now, in your, detail, and I think I have no doubt that you've taken the, you had a recorder, so you can record exactly what I said, and I have no doubt that it's correct. The only thing, you didn't include everything. The main thing that I was telling you, Chris, I don't, with all we're doing and trying to get you transferred and working things out, I don't think you're being reasonable. Did I say that? Check your tape. I did say that. I said 2 or 3 times, even with the attorneys on, I said, goodness, Chris, I don't think you're being reasonable with us. Now, my language is not always good. As you can just tell, I just fouled up. I didn't foul up, I did it intentionally. I'm Bain, and I'm gonna die Bain. But now, I normally, with mixed company like we have here tonight, I guess that's your wife and all, I don't try to do the way, I talk to you man to man. I'm a pretty, I'm old and weak now sometimes, but I talk to you man to man, and I was talking to you, I didn't realize, of course, it's fine, you can take me anytime. You just bring one on you anytime you want to. But if I'd known that you were taping me, I wouldn't have had this kind of language in front of these ladies in the public like this. I thought I was talking one man talk to another man. And you come out here with a tape on it, then I congratulate you, you're a bright person. That's fine, I don't have any problem with that. But the other thing that I don't like is the conclusion of your statement. When we were talking, and the man here was on the phone, and we weren't taping it, we just got to use our memory what it was said. But I was saying, Chris, I don't think you're being reasonable with us. I know said that 2 or 3 times. And then, you didn't say that I'll come and see the council. I don't know what your statements are. I can't remember things that well. That's not what you said at all. You stormed out of that chair and said, well, talk to my lawyer, and out my office you went. Why wasn't that included in your statement, son? Did you not do that?
Not how you said it, no.
Yes, you did. You got up and stormed out the door.
I told you I would let my appeal stand, and if need be, my lawyer will be in
No,
touch
you-
as I was leaving.
I wanna hear you tape. No, I don't wanna hear that.
But
I don't give a darn about
that's-
tape. Other than that, we'll make our decision Thursday night, I guess, won't we, counsel?
Can I
Yes.
ask one thing before?
Sure.
Okay. Did you talk to the DA and ask her
No,
a reason
No.
for the, felony charge?
I was put on administrative leave on the 6th. I had no contact with anybody. The chief sent me 2 text messages during the 2-week period I was out. One was to tell me that to plan to be off the weekend because the investigation was ongoing. The second communication was he was needing a copy of the schedule so he could get it worked out. And the next thing I know, the sheriff and the GBI's at my house telling me they have warrants for my arrest on the 19th. That's all the...
Okay, we've, you got anything else, son? Okay, that's it, Chris, thank you.
John, everything,
Huh?
John, everything.
John, you got any questions for the man?
No, sir.
All right, let's move on. All right. I think all of you know that, we had a joint development, authority with Lumber City, Hazelhurst, and Telfair County for about 25 or 30 years. And, finally, y'all put me as chairman of that thing, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. Whenever Top Weatherly died, y'all asked me to fill in so we could do something. And in this period of time, those of us on the board, have decided that the best thing to do was auction that property off and sell it, and we have done that. We've, researched it, we had the authority, we've talked to people in Atlanta and did everything we could do. And so we've sold the property. We now have the check in the bank, in Lumber City. The account has always been in Lumber City. And we've got a resolution that our attorney has advised each of the 3 units of government had to do, both us, Lumber City, and Telfair County, to adopt the resolution to jointly decide to dissolve the Development Authority and pay all bills and divide the proceeds. And Lumber City has already passed theirs a few nights ago. I think Telfair's fixing to maybe, I'm not sure Telfair. And then, of course, we're meeting Thursday night. So what you've got over there in front of you on item 3, discuss resolution to dissolve the Joint Development Authority of Hazelhurst, Lumber City, and Telfair County. I'm hoping that we have, and here again, Telfair and Lumber City doesn't, I think they know it, but it's all right. That's what water over the dam. But we've carried the load of that thing for years and years and years and years. So finally, we're gonna get it, looks like, and don't hold me to it, after we pay the bills and make sure that your bill's in, to get paid. And because when we get through with it, we're gonna divide the money between the 3 units of government, and it'll be approximately $80,000 apiece. And that's what the resolution will do Thursday night. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's what they will adopt, yeah. That's what everybody's got that, okay, haven't they? Yeah, okay. All right, any questions about that? Or y'all ready to adopt it as I'm recommending? I hope you are.
Sure am, but I thought we, well, anyway. I'm back.
I'm fine.
I thought we had done it. I was ready to get out of it 40 years ago.
Well, I tried to give it away.
Well.
Okay, go ahead.
There needs to be on Thursday night too, the Consolidated Housing Authority, which we've already discussed, that resolution needs to be passed Thursday night. The public hearing's been held and everything, and Lumber City's passed its, stuff area.
All right. We're not doing away with the housing authority in AR and Lumber City. We're combining the 2. The government, even though that's in Telfair County, the proximity of Hazelhurst and the fact that we worked, even back when I was on the housing authority board, we worked real close to and had the common work information. So finally, legally, they're going to combine the 2 entities. They will still exist just like they've been going, but instead of it being Lumber City and
The Hazelhurst Consolidated Housing Authority.
right. So that's what we're going to, that resolution is ready for passing Thursday night as well. Okay, discuss resolution for is that, can y'all pull up that resolution for the, fire hydrant replacement low bid? We can adopt this tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
We adopt the resolution tonight? Asking Kim, will be all right?
yes, all we're doing is setting the low bid.
Yeah, you can adopt the resolution that's been.
Read that then, and then it's very short.
Whereas bids were received by the city of Hazlehurst October 2020 for the fire hydrant replacement project, and whereas the low responsible responsive bidder is L&L Utilities, Inc. of East Dublin, Georgia, with a bid in the amount of $596,534. And whereas low bidder L&L Utilities, Inc. appears to have the necessary financial and technical ability to complete the project, be it therefore resolved, the city of Hazlehurst hereby makes tentative contract, awarded the construction contract to the low bidder L&L Utilities, Inc. of East Dublin, Georgia, in the amount of $596,534. Award of this contract is subject to the selected bidder meeting the requirements regarding DBE/MBE/WBE compliance with the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority.
Which I understand they've already done. I entertain a motion that we authorize me to sign the resolution, approve it, and, I entertain a motion that y'all approve the resolution and authorize me to sign it.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Ms. Leggett and seconded by Mr. Johnson that we approve the resolution and authorizing me to sign it. Is there any further discussion about it? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried, and I will execute the contract, and we've got another $500,000 worth of improvement coming in on our water system that we could. By the way, most of this is bid money, as you well know. Grant money. I'll get it right in a minute. Okay. We've just gone through, ladies and gentlemen, I think everybody up here knows all about it. Some of you may not. We've gone through we've been self-insured. The little town, the city of Hazlehurst has been self-insured for, 25, 30 years, long time. And for us to be able to handle and cover all the health problems of an aging and unhealthy clientele and personnel sometimes, it got out of hand several years ago. It didn't just get out of hand. It got out of hand. We were paying, for instance, the police department cost the taxpayers of the city of Hazlehurst $1 million a year.
Mr. Chairman, I question the legitimacy of this. This is not on the agenda. Would you please refer back to the agenda?
That's exactly what I'm working on, sir.
Tie it together.
All right, Vixen too. Where in the hell was I? Yeah. So I'd gone to GMA and asked them 2 or 3 years ago about getting us under the umbrella of the Georgia Municipal Association, so that I'm not saying all these people are members of GMA and under the same plan, but there were little towns all over Georgia. So if you had a whole, I don't know how many thousand, but thousands of employees. And so if Landon was an employee of the city and he had major health benefits, just a little town right here, and the taxpayers didn't have to cover his medical expense. It was, the umbrella was spread over GMA, the Georgia Municipal Association, and put the umbrella much bigger. And I'm going to get to that, Mr. Parliamentarian.
I was fixing to question it again.
All right. Well,
how does it tie?
Well, if you don't keep your mouth shut long enough, you'll find out. So, in doing this, we finally begged, I was at an event and begged GMA to cover us, and they did. And we got the folks together, and they came in here, and that's what that number 5, what does it say? Discuss
Number
hotel.
5, you go into
Discuss-
actions with our clerk, is what's supposed to go in number 5.
No, I
Go in
think-
advisory retreat, no, it's 6.
Okay, you want to catch up?
The hotel.
Y'all both wrong. Number 5 is discuss the hotel attraction.
That's what I'm discussing, y'all just can't tell it yet. So finally, we get changed, and the, people come in here and start enrolling our folks into a new, bigger health plan. And when I come in, I said, would y'all like some coffee? Oh, no, we had breakfast and coffee already. I said, where did you have breakfast and coffee? Oh, they're at the hotel in Baxley. So you see that the folks coming in and selling this insurance and putting all these employees under the big umbrella and coming into Hazlehurst, and I'm in here making coffee for them about 7 o'clock in the morning when they got here. And I said, where did you get your breakfast? Oh, I had it down in Baxley at my hotel where I stayed. And here again, Chris, I hope you got your mic on. No, that's all right. Rhonda's got it back there. I said, what in the hell are you doing staying in Baxley and coming here selling insurance in Hazlehurst, Georgia? Well, I'll tell you why. I don't know who all, those of us on tourism and the health authority, my friend Mr. Oscar Hewlett, and I don't know who all have let the hotels get so nasty, and folks coming in, and when they leave, they dial up the phone, and somebody says, don't you ever give me reservations in Hazlehurst, Georgia again. I know that to be a fact, some, and I've got some heads nodding. So at any rate, we're letting these motels, and they didn't pay their tax for years, and still not up to date completely. And then when our people off called to get reservations, they said, oh, you don't want to stay in Hazlehurst. You go to Vidalia, you're back to Hazlehurst somewhere. You better believe I got as mad then as I did. I got madder then, Chris, than I did with you. I really cooked me, and he went in and made my good friend here by me. I said, what in the world are we doing, letting our reputation and us trying to work every day as hard as we all are, trying to build the city of Hazlehurst and do everything we can to grow it and do good, and if somebody off the way calls to get reservations, and the folks tell them, look, you don't want to stay in that nasty place, and they send them to somewhere else. And if you don't think I got mad, then you ought to have been here. And you can tell I'm still mad about it.
Did you go tell them?
Huh?
Did you go tell them?
No, it's not them, honey, it's us. For tolerating it. So the reason I wanted to share with you, it hurt me. I went around here in bad shape. I said, good gracious, you mean to tell me, that happened once before, but it hit me. You mean to tell me that all of us are working our fannies off to build a town and to pave roads and to get restaurants in here and get overpasses and get new water lines in and send pipes out all of our industry and busting, and then when somebody comes to Hazlehurst, the blooming motels is the blooming nasty. The folks won't they'll get reservations in Vidalia or Douglas or somewhere beside Hazlehurst. It made me mad, and I'm still mad about it.
Mr. Mayor, I somewhat apologize for that. Apparently, I'm working on two different agendas here. Both of them are, say, Monday, November the 16th. But number 5 in mine is to discuss the clerk's advisory retreat. And the other, number 5, is what you somewhat discussed with the addition of the insurance.
Well, is that, I do know how to do math, is that 5? Discuss hotel attraction for visitors and guests?
I have 2 agendas.
Yeah, he's got a different agenda, the numbers of transfer.
When did you get that first agenda?
Friday afternoon.
Okay, then it was updated. It was updated. That one needs to be trashed. We had to go back and redo.
You want to apologize now or later?
I said I apologize for reading 2 agendas, but I was not updated to the point that the second agenda was there.
Listen, that ain't no problem. I'll be wrong.
Sit behind the desk a while.
I make mistakes every day. That's good. You know, I'm not like you and my Chris. That doesn't bother me a bit. Good. All right, let's move on. At any rate, I don't know what we're going to do about this filthy motels, and people can't even get reservations.
Run them out of town, and get them out of here. They shouldn't have been.
Well, I'm
Never
going to put
mind.
you in charge of that.
I didn't say
I'm going to
that.
put you in charge of that, Ms. Leggett. All right, we carrying on too much horse manure around here. Oh, well, not that, something else as well.
But now,
May
when
I
I,
say something there on
What?
number 5, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I am a member of the Board of Tourism Board, okay? For the people that serve this community, not just the mayor and the council, it's the county commissioners, it's the business leaders, those folks, and the mayor stays involved with this. In his defense, he did jump on me Friday, but I jumped back. The business people, the citizens of Hazelhurst, and the elected officials have got to get with the Board of Tourism. It's not the Chamber of Commerce, it's not these. You need to speak your opinion if you have someone that stays at this hotel and they voice concerns about it. Not just one person can take care of it.
Right.
It's a real problem,
Well, we don't have a health department that can go in there and look at it.
They do go in and look at it. Well, we've carried this far enough, we've got a problem, and you know who, it's not their problem, and, it's, you know whose problem it is. It's our problem. So, we'll have to work on it and do the best we can. And, all right, the, next 3 things, we'll handle that Thursday night. Citizens' comments, Rhonda Hush. I like to tease Rhonda. No, Rhonda, you say anything you like. Okay, we've got another, come up front and speak. I think you might have something to do with starting some of this mess.
Right, I surely did. I want you to understand, I'm not a public speaker. My daddy was a preacher. I am not. So,
But can you
having
preach?
that in mind.
Can you preach?
No, only Brother Ben do that if we have to come up with that. Okay, there's a lot of things about Officer Morrison's case that is unique. One of the things, the fellow in charge is in front of him, a civilian cannot be charged with it. It is, we have a certain oath that we operate under, and that's to uphold the laws. And therefore, not everybody can be charged with that. We come in under a condition, much like a traffic light. Most people can go around town in a condition green, everything's fine. We expect our officers to come in no less than a yellow. Their safety and the safety of other people within Hazelhurst demands it, okay? Here's what we know so far about this case. There's no problem releasing it to the public. The victim was shot for no apparent reason. Multiple shots fired up there in our city for no apparent reason. Okay, we know we got an active shooter. We know he's got a rifle. We also know that he's on parole. We also know that he was paroled out to Lyons, Georgia, not to Hazelhurst, Georgia. Okay? We know Officer Morrison ran towards the trouble, not away from it. Now his level goes from yellow to high yellow to orange, and basically sitting right there at the edge of red. We are facing a life and death situation. And that's where he needs to be. Okay? We know that the officer relied on his training and his ability and had the offender in custody very quickly. That's a good thing. One of the things that has come up in the complaint issues was the fact that Officer Morrison, now his safety being in danger, going for an armed suspect with a rifle, he was carrying a black rifle. Well, that's fine, because that is what we're issued for just such situations as that. So he was doing right. Okay, what we don't know is how many lives were saved, both in here and Lyons. If he's pardoned, paroled out to Lyons, he's saying this is my home record, this is Lyons, Georgia, but he's been staying here. So If he left here, could he be going to Lyons? More than likely. That's where he's got people at. That's who the parole board says, yes, he can move to Lyons, Georgia, because he's got people there that's gonna take care of him. He hadn't been in Lyons, Georgia. He's been in Hazelhurst, Georgia. Okay. We don't know exactly what motivated the complainant to file a complaint on Officer Morrison. We really don't know. We know that they had contact with each other. We know that it wasn't cordial. It don't need to be cordial. We can't expect an officer looking for an active shooter to be cordial. You know, we can go drink coffee later. Right now, we got an active shooter we got to deal with. Well, he left that issue there with that gentleman and went and looked for the assailant. Took him down at gunpoint, waited for backup to come, handcuffed him. He is now presently incarcerated.
Good.
The job was completed. Okay. Some of the things that happened, Officer Morrison mentioned it, is the political climate. The district attorney's office. Much of her problems with her reelection come out of Glenn County. Had absolutely nothing to do with Hazelhurst or Jeff Davis County. And if you will look at the voting population, she lost in Glenn County, and badly. She so much that offset every other county, 4 other counties in the New Brunswick Judicial Circuit. Much of that had to do with the police department down there. Could we imagine that we're going to make an example of a police officer at the far end of the circuit? Now, that's possible. I can't say that. I don't know her motives behind this. But I do know that we have a new district attorney coming in. Who's going to have to review this case? That's going to happen in January. Here we are, mid-November. We can wait. We can wait. All right. Now, what do we as a body do? We believe in the officer's training and his history with the department. He has been here for a long period of time. We wait for the grand jury and court's ruling. We got time. Time is in our favor right now. We got time to wait. We can take care of our employee. We look at the totality of the circumstances. Does the complainant that filed a complaint on Officer Morris, does he have some validity? It's possible. We look at the totality of the circumstances, though. Why it's not Officer Friendly coming up and saying, sir, let's go have a cup of coffee and let's discuss the problem we got. We've got to look at it differently. Okay? Having all that in mind, we can wait on post, everything. During this time, we build people up, we don't tear them down. We say, okay, we're going to hold you up right now until we get everything resolved, till we know all the facts, till we have everything in front of us. Then we'll make an informed decision. I would like to show the council, this is a warrant issued for me back in 1986. Young police officer, now I'm at the time close to retirement. 1986, somebody believed in me, did a lateral transfer, and shortly thereafter the district attorney dropped the charges, and I was back at the police department. I have made my career policing. One of the things that happened during my career, at one point, I became a sheriff, a constitutional office by appointment. During that time, I had employees working for me, short time, going through a bad time through the sheriff's office. I loved that I had the loyalty of the men, but they also had mine. I'm asking you to exchange the same courtesy to Officer Morris tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I'd like to say something. Sure.
Thank you, Officer Lee. Thank you.
Y'all turning your Bibles to, no, I'm just kidding.
I bet you can.
Not as good as my dad. I wasn't planning on speaking when I got here tonight, but, I feel like that, for lack of a better term, I could be a character witness on behalf of Officer Morrison. Chris and I have known each other, I would say, 25 plus years, close to 30 years. We became friends 4th or 5th grade in school. We grew up together. We graduated high school together in the year 2002. Our paths kind of split for a little while, for a couple of years. Then in 2005, I began attending college over in Vidalia, Southeastern Tech, to get a criminal justice degree, or diploma. Chris was already attending classes there, and shortly after completing his course, he got hired on as a 911 dispatcher. Well, as luck would have it, I completed my course of study, started an internship with the Sheriff's Office, and soon after, I was also employed as a 911 dispatcher here for Jeff Davis. As a matter of fact, Chris and I shared many shifts together at the 911 center. Ups and downs, call after call, funny calls, terrible calls, but we were there together. Then in 2009, we both made the decision to attend the police academy. Again, we've been together for a long time, and I consider him more than a friend. He's basically a brother in all but blood, and I consider him a blood brother. When all this occurred with the criminal charges and such, I was floored. Because I could tell you, working with Chris, when we left the police academy, both of us, I worked at the police department first. I started, and right after the academy, he was working for Telfair. A couple of years later, he came and joined us here. I can tell you, in the years that we've worked together, I have never known a better officer. I've never known someone that would have my back or the backs of any other officer with this department better than Chris Morrison. And I can tell you, I wasn't in town the day this incident occurred with this active shooter. I was actually visiting my parents and my family. And when I heard this happen, I heard the incident happen, and then the next day I found out that the complaint had been filed, and the GBI had been called. Chris called me and was understandably concerned, upset, but I told him, buddy, it's all going to work out. Just not in the way we thought, because 2 weeks later, apparently the district attorney felt that criminal charges were warranted. And I also very, very strongly disagree with these criminal charges. Because in my humble opinion, Officer Morrison could have saved, there's no telling how many lives he saved by taking the shooter into custody, finding him in the time period that he did. And as Officer Lee pointed out, was the complaint against him warranted? I can't say for certain. I wasn't there. But from what I've been told and from what evidence I've seen, I don't think it was. That's just my humble opinion. But I can tell you this, I find it terrible in this day and age that somebody felt it was more important to press criminal charges against an officer doing his job than the fact that officer possibly saved countless lives taking the shooter into custody that had already shot one lady in the neck. So, in closing, I would say this. I would appeal to this honorable council and honorable mayor to please consider reinstating him. because I can tell you from personal experience, you have a very valuable employee sitting right here right now. And I would like to close with my favorite Bible verse, John 16:33. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else out there? Yes, sir. Come forward, sir. While he's coming up, let me say this too, and this is a work session and we're supposed to go back and forth. I think, and even Chris has acknowledged when he was up here a few minutes ago, and you can tell that we have begun trying to salvage the situation, and it got kind of gritty some way, but I think all of us tried to work this out. I told him, and he acknowledged it there, that I was certainly willing. He was a nice young man, and I was willing to help. And but sometimes a monkey wrench gets into things sometimes and just tears the heck out of it. And that's a lot of what's happened here. But this council, we'll resolve this. But thank you all for what you've done. Go ahead, Chief.
Mayor, I think you know, but some of you don't know. You know, we've talked for quite some time about ISO coming and doing an audit on us. Well, that'll happen Wednesday. They will be here Wednesday. Well, they will not. This is something a little bit different. This year it's going to be virtual, so they will not be here. But we're having to do a ton. We've spent 2.5 weeks doing a ton of work, scanning, sending, taking pictures. We're having to take pictures of our training center. We're having to take pictures of the new county fire stations. This will be a city and county audit. I thank y'all for passing that resolution because we may need it. And I'm going to need a copy of that resolution probably because I may need to send that ISO so they understand what we're trying to do with our hydrant situation. But anyway, I just want to let y'all know they're coming or not coming. It's hard for us to say not coming, but they are virtually going to do it. And we will be on the phone starting at 9 o'clock Wednesday with them, and we may have to take a lunch and then go back and finish it up. So this could take hours on the phone with them, and back into sending them. They'll ask questions. We will scan and send stuff that maybe we haven't sent. I hope that our training center is going to come into play. That will give us a good bit of points if we're able to do that. So just wanted to let y'all know we're probably after the holidays for sure. Probably sometime the first quarter of next year before we actually know what our grade will be. We're a Class 4, and we're barely a Class 4. So we can't afford to lose any points at all, or we'll go back to a Class 5. So, you know, our goal is to, with the training center and some other things, is to try to get us in a better position within the 4, or either the 3 would be great, but I'm not getting... I just want to position us better in a Class 4 if we can do that. But just want to let y'all know, let you know where we're at on it. We're working on it every day. A bunch of stuff we got the scan tomorrow to send in. It's on the phone with our person that's grading us and today. So, yes, sir, you got a question?
Yes, sir. Almost off the track, but you know me, I'm off track anyway. As it relates under the authorization of the mayor, I was asked to go to see you, and I believe what the lateral move that we had discussed, you was going to have Mr. Morrison helping with the fire hydrants to improve those. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Yeah, this virtual thing is actually already taking place. You know, he's been speaking things, and the actual culmination of it will be, what did you say, Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it won't be the culmination, but it'll be the focal point of getting all the data in. But at any rate, I hope that, because I don't know whether you know it, but it affects your insurance rate.
Heavily.
So
Yes, sir.
It's
It
really
does.
important. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Okay, good. We'd love to hear.
It's not for the council, I just want to ask a question, I think it's going to make some clarification. And it's directed to you, Officer Morrison. when you go before, this is gonna go before the grand jury by the district attorney, whichever one it is, our current or our new one, that's elected. When that is presented to the grand jury, as a peace officer, are you allowed to be in there?
Yes.
That's what I thought, okay.
Okay, Landon, you and Matthew, you got, are we gonna discuss this?
The alleyway, yes.
Huh?
The alleyway.
Yeah, okay, all right, why don't, both of you, one of you come, huh?
I'm gonna have to go to another.
Okay. Y'all have got the pictures here on your machine. Pull that up and look at it. And also, while they're getting it up, we're talking about, I don't know about you folks, I feel sure you are. With the activity of a center of our town coming back alive, and businesses coming back in there and investments being made, it just reels me to death. And these two young men are particularly involved, and there's a lot more too. They're not by themselves. There's a lot more activity going on. And in fact, another customer, not a customer, another businessman down there is talking about the alleyway in behind them. I want to do some improvements. If y'all got that alley in front of you so you can see it, they sent you two pictures. They sent you a picture of how it exists, and they've sent you a picture of what they propose to do with it. Now, if we do this, and this is something that we'll have to help them with, are we going to retain the ownership of we've owned all the parking lots down there, we're going to retain the alley and keep the grass cut, and of course, I know that they're going to help with the decor and what it looks like and utilize it and all. Do we want to abandon the alley? And when you abandon the alley legally, Mr. Attorney, this landowner gets half and this half, and we do it that way. Then there's another one, counsel, that these two gentlemen, well, yes, Landon's involved in it. The alley turns and goes behind. I don't know where, do they pick up your trash in the back, Landon?
No, so there's no access to the back from there, but it dead ends to like the Napa Auto Parts.
Well, it goes almost to your business.
No, it goes to it. I have access to a back alleyway, but there's no vehicular access.
Oh, I know that, but yeah, your business, you can go out the back door to this alley and walk out on the alley back there. Are they using?
Private property, but yeah.
Pardon?
It's through private property, but yeah.
It's split
Nope.
between about 4 people.
Yeah.
No, the city owns that, I think.
No, so Napa, whoever owns Napa owns part of that.
And
And then Brooke Reagan owns part, I own part, Terry Rush owns part, and then the actual entryway to that alley, the Cheney's owns.
and
The what now?
The entryway to the alley, where you go to, the access point to our back door.
Yeah.
The Cheney's own that block of concrete
the
there.
only part that's not owned is the middle part that we want the.
The part that we got the pictures of. Have y'all already researched that now?
Yes, sir, I pulled it up on the tax assessor website.
Who?
The tax assessor
You
website.
can't go by that.
Don't know about that?
Well, Miss Terry and Rory had asked about getting it last year, and it was brought up at one meeting and never went.
Yeah, we talked about it. In fact, I encouraged them before they, got out and got very far with it, with what they want to do, to check on it. And you need to, well, let's see, we want to do all we can to help you, you know that. But, we need a title attorney or one of their clerks that does a lot of title work to go in and trace that thing and see for sure who owns it. I think you're gonna find, because my history goes back with Alva Wooten and I partners back in the late 60s, which is almost 50 years ago. And I remember that there's something there, and you need to look at it. I'm not sure, I can't vouch for it, but I'd be very cautious about determining it. And one thing that you mentioned, Joel is wanting to spend some money there. And he asked me to talk to the council, y'all, and, he wants to spend some money there, and he said, Mary, I don't wanna go spend some money, and come to find out that, I can't do that, I can't do what I want to do back there. And he's talking about investing a considerable amount of money in that area that we're talking about back there. And so we've got to, we can, as a council, with them trying to do what they're trying to do, we can instruct our attorney and engage him and incur some expenses. Or we can, as a council, we can be rather callous and tell our young men and other people down there to do their own research.
Well, one solution could be, if the city is interested in closing the alley, if there is alley, which I think there is, the council could vote to close it if it is alley and quit claiming any interest to them, and then they're on their own.
Then they're on their own, yeah.
Then y'all can research it and see, is anybody else, does the adjoining landowners have claims to it? The city can give up its claim if it has one to it by quit claim deed.
Since the Lowrys, I believe they're gonna retain the ownership of the Big Beauty Salon and all, is that correct?
Well, it's all on building, yes, sir.
And all, the whole thing. So, at either end down there, they can get their trash out, so the garbage truck's not, it doesn't go down there anyway.
Yeah, we have our trash cans in the alley now, they pick them up on Tuesdays.
From the alley?
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do about that?
I mean, they would stay there.
Huh?
Yeah. They're picked up on Henson Street.
Oh, pick up at the end of the alley down there.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Oh, you keep them at the end, so they don't actually drive through the alley?
No.
Okay, so they're not driving through now, so it won't have any effect on your trash?
Yeah, no one drives through there.
All right, and they're certainly not driving in that little one that goes back behind you,
That's
Lefty.
good.
So it appears to me, council, from a surveying standpoint, for here sits the attorney, I see no problem with, abandoning those alleys and deed them to the landowner.
Wait a minute.
What about a fire? What if you had a fire in that middle building? How would the fire department get to the back to put it out before it went to the other buildings?
Yeah, it has to be open for a fire line.
It's gonna have to be open.
Pardon?
It should be.
Yeah, like,
We couldn't get our fire trucks in there anyway.
No, you get people and hoses.
We can get our people and hose in there, if they're going grass over something, that's not an issue. I mean, I don't know what the project is, but if they're going grass that, we have no problem with that, we can get to it back there, that's not a problem, we can let it.
You throw your hose around and get into the back, you got enough hose to
As
reach
long as
it?
we have access to get back there, if we can walk back there full line fire, we're good.
Well, I feel sure if there's a fire, that everybody's in agreement that you get back there with some water some way.
And I
Yeah, but
don't think,
if Joel wants to develop the part behind him, you know what I'm talking about?
yes,
That'll close that off.
Hmm.
I don't think he should.
No, he's gonna leave the bottom open.
yeah, it won't be developed.
Okay.
The bottom will be open, and
Will be there.
what he's gonna do is build a veranda upstairs
Okay.
and something upstairs above that, so that if it's a fire, those fire hoses can be drugged back in there and go in Landon's back door.
Okay.
Somebody correct me, please. This alley that I got on this, that you put here, didn't we have about a year ago, a couple of young ladies come here and asked us about closing off an alley down there where people was hooking up? Excuse me for using that kind of word, but it was a meeting place, in some kind of way we told them at that time about doing that. Now, what are we doing now? We coming back?
Most of them never done that.
It wasn't never done? I thought we'd give them permission.
I can't vouch for what happened then, but I do know that when I was back there cleaning up, kinda getting it to a usable space, I found lots of
Well, that's what I'm talking about. They was trying to stop it.
Evidence, Landon.
They were trying to stop it, and I thought we told them to go ahead and do it.
No.
I thought we told them to go ahead.
Okay, all right,
Well, now, go ahead and do what we told them to go ahead and close the alley.
Quit claiming it to them, and then let them do the tile search.
Yeah, what I'm saying,
The city's out of it.
Lord.
Quit
claim would be out of it.
Okay, well, quick claim, look here, why don't we just do that, we're gonna go,
You got 4 property owners there.
Go to the
Equal
joint
divide.
property owner.
Equal divided.
Now, the middle alleyway that we're referring to, that would be the split between Terry Rush and Rory Cheney.
See, now that's
But
the same thing that come up the last time. Now, all of y'all brains is talking. That came up last time when we was in here about splitting this alley up to this and getting that and that and getting that. It was done. I just ask you to go cautious. It's good that you're trying to do, 'cause I want you to do it. But y'all, we rehashing things that gonna blow up in your face. Seriously. We done went over this a couple of times, and we told those ladies, well, I don't wanna use that word again, but we told those ladies at that time, I wasn't asleep. I might can't tell you what I wanna tell you, but I know it's been handled.
Listen, we will have no foul language in here.
I'm getting ready to preach now.
You might better call your daddy.
Well,
Oh, man. All right, look here, we've gone out, y'all see, y'all made me tell a lie again. I said I like to quit at 6:59, and it's 7:13 now.
Can I make one more comment?
Yes, sir.
The main reason that we do want it resurfaced on the back is because at least 3 customers that I know of mine have fallen in the alley from the uneven concrete and asphalt, just as they've fallen on Henson Street going into Landon.
Deed it to them, we won't get rid of that liability.
I'll just tell them what to do.
But if you done it with the sod, it would cost under $1,000 just to resurface it with the sod, and then we could keep it cut.
Yeah, and it'd be usable. In fact, y'all doing a good job with it. We're gonna have to do a little research.
Would have to go in there and make a motion?
Yeah.
All right, I'll handle that. I move that, we do the quick deed and turn this over to our attorney to get us out of this mess.
I think you've overloaded the attorney.
What you're talking about is closing the alley. Wait, let me finish. I'm closing it from the standpoint the city's gonna be out of it. And each adjoining landowner will own half of the alley.
Yeah.
So whoever's behind you, Napa own half of the alley, and that will own half of the alley.
Well, Napa says they own it now.
No, that's
Not
gonna
the
be their
alley that
issue.
we're referring to, the one that you're referring to, we will have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let me tell you what, if we close that one, we ain't got any way to get to the other one. We're gonna give y'all both of them. Now, how you gonna handle that, I don't
I can
know.
do it if y'all just tell me to do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Well, you need to vote on it.
Well, you got a motion, we do not have a second.
All right, I got a motion from Mr. Ramey that we, abandon a T area of alley in this area. That'll go all the way back to wherever it stops behind you, Landon, plus in between the, Henson and the, what's the other one over there, Railroad Street or whatever. But is there a second?
I'll second.
Yeah, Mr. Bloodworth has come on and seconded, and Ms.
Okay.
Leggett has thirded it. All right, any further discussion?
What about easement for the city to get the fire people back there?
Huh?
Do we need to retain an easement to get the fire people back there in case there's a fire?
We won't close it completely, we'll just have a gate on each end, so that nobody would even attempt to drive down there.
Can I interject something here?
Sure.
We have started something that just got started, Track Supply, and all of the, our solar panel fields are going to a Knox box. And that Knox box is put on the building, and we have the key to it, where there's a key coder for Jeff Davis County, for our department only. And we would have a key to that gate, put the Knox box up, put the key to the gate.
If anything happens, you ain't got to call anybody, you can go right in. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't be long.
No, yeah, there's not gonna be, I think that's a misunderstanding.
Wait a minute.
The whole alleyway is not gonna be gated off.
Wait a minute, well, look here.
I'm out.
He's gonna put that protection for you in there. Yeah, let's put that in the thing.
Now, when it comes time to remove the concrete asphalt, could we have you guys assist?
Could you have what?
When it comes time to dig up the asphalt, could we, the city assist us in digging?
Have I ever denied helping you?
No.
All right.
As long as it's after the Christmas holiday.
We wanted it before that.
But we needed it for that swale.
You know better than that. Look here, another thing while we're talking to y'all, I've gone around those parking lots and all those islands that's in there, those things, those are coming out when we get time.
Right.
Those are coming out, and it's going, and we've got out there and looked at how we mark off the parking lot, and parking will be so much better in both parking lots. Yeah, the, other thing, council. These two, young men that 3 months ago, we were in here struggling with some zoning problems, and they were willing to serve for us, and all of us, I think, were happy about it. And we had to begin checking on it, and I was getting ready to have them raise their right hand and swear them in. And all of a sudden, the rules are that, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, you're in Ward 1, is that right? Mm-hmm. Mr. Dwayne Johnson, Mr. Ramey, you're in Ward 2. Mr. Ramey in Ward 2, Ms. Leggett is Ward 3, and Mr. Bloodworth over here in Ward 4. Each of you have to nominate your representative in your ward to serve on the zoning board.
Has to be a citizen of that ward.
And they have to be a citizen and reside in that ward. And, there's a fifth member of the board, and that's at large, and I'm gonna take the responsibility of trying to find that. But now, here's the thing I wanna tell you, that they serve for 3-year terms. All of the terms have expired, they've been here much longer than that. And since we've had, former mayor Buddy Spann has gotten where he's disabled and has been asking me for a long time to get him off, and we finally done that. And, we've lost one of the best ones that's ever served. Mr. Goose was just outstanding. He studied the zoning law and, and really, this is, y'all just can't imagine the work that Mr. Goose did for us, and he's no longer with us. So at this time now, it behooves us as a council, for each of you to look, you know who's your member now? Mr. Ramey, out in your ward? Do you know Mr., what's his name, Gregory,
Greg Rainey.
Rainey.
Rainey, yeah, Greg Rainey.
Greg Rainey is there.
Yeah, he is.
And, Mr. Bloodworth, I believe Clyde McCall is yours.
Yeah, sir.
And, I believe that's the only two we've got left.
Mr. Arnold.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Arnold, which ward is he in?
One,
Dwayne.
he's mine.
Yeah, he's
But,
Dwayne.
but all those terms are up.
Yeah, they're all expired.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do now, we're going to enter, we're gonna, listen to me, we're running over here. We're going to, if you want to reappoint your member and come back and recommend that you leave them there, that's your prerogative. But we want to right away, we've got some things that's going on with reference to zoning that we need a functioning, zoning board, and we need it bad. So I'm gonna ask you, and you normally don't do what I ask you, but, I'm gonna ask you to work on this hard this week and question, yes, ma'am?
Do you have to live in the city?
Yes, ma'am, you got to live in the ward. I've just got
Do
through
you
with
be a
it.
business owner in the city?
I don't think, no, you said
You
resident.
can, but you still have to live in the
You have to
ward.
live in the business.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
If you don't, of course, now, you've moved your time to before, I don't see why you can't move
I
again.
ain't moving again.
I've got some houses in my neighborhood that if anybody wants to move in there, just talk to me.
All right, so at any rate, council, what I'm gonna ask you to do to expediently come up with a name, and let's get us an active board, and I'll work on the, but here again, if you come across anybody that'll serve, don't worry about it, let's try to come up with 5 members and get it activated.
On the zoning
And I'm gonna share this with you now.
Okay.
Of course, they elect their own chairman. Once we get this group together, they elect their chairman. There ain't no, we need to work hard on that.
All right, which ones are missing? Want to reiterate that with me, Ward Two.
Buddy Spann, there's no one in your ward, and there's no one in, at large.
At large,
Yeah.
that's only 2 missing, not
That's
3,
right, yeah.
okay.
Well,
No, Ward
everybody's
one.
terms up.
Well, the terms are up,
But you can appoint those back, or you can appoint somebody fresh blood if you want.
Well, I always like to talk to them in mind
Don't we
to
need
see
to
if they
ask
want
him
to
if
do
they
it.
be, if,
Yeah.
like mine, ask him if he would be willing to serve?
Yeah.
Okay.
You check it close. All right, I apologize for being 20 minutes over, but it's not my fault, it's Greg Marston's fault.
What is this? Charles, what is this?
Anybody else got anything to say? Mr. Johnson?
I hope the motion we go home hurry.
Mr. Johnson made a motion that we adjourn, and
I
Mr.
second.
Bloodworth is the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.